factory in Aichi Prefecture. The factory has long made items like this. But it's also making a product that's become a big hit among people who love to cook, a cooking pot.
Hello.
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 Today's Takumi are this pair of brothers, company president Kunihiro Hijikata and his younger brother Tomoharu, the executive managing director. They took over the family business which fabricated hydraulic valves for ships. Then they came up with this cooking pot, which became a big hit among people who love to cook. To find out why, let's cook with it. We made a French-style stew. Look at all those ingredients. Yummy. But aren't we forgetting something? Don't we need to add some water?
No, we don't.
Really? I took the Takumi's word for it.
Shall we look inside?
Yes, please. Whoa, but wait! There's broth in there now. Did you add water?
Not at all. This is an enameled cast iron casserole pot that can cook without adding water.
How does our Takumi's pot do it? Much of the manufacturing process is a company secret, but we were able to see some of it. Step 1 in making an enameled cast iron casserole pot. Mix carbon with iron, heated to 1,500 degrees Celsius. Then cast it in a mold made of sand. So far, very typical.
Here, we precision grind the surfaces where the pot and the lid are in contact. This requires the touch of an experienced craftsman.
You don't use precision machine tools to make these?
Precision machine tools aren't enough.
It is this process which makes the Takumi's pot so special. A craftsman's skill grinds the contact surface down to less than 1/100th of a millimeter of roughness. After grinding, there isn't even space to slip a piece of paper between the lid and the table. Steam escapes from in between the pot and the lid of an ordinary enameled cast iron casserole pot. But the Takumi's pot lid is so tight-fitting that almost no steam can escape. The water from the ingredients themselves stays in the pot, so they cook without adding water.
Our company had always been a subcontractor, but we dreamed of bringing our technology directly to the consumer market, where we could set our own price. So we launched our own brand and took the company to a new stage.
10 years ago, the brothers were both working for big companies. But seeing their father struggle, they decided to take over the company to get the factory humming again. Their idea was to utilize the existing facility and know-how by going into the cooking pot business.
At the time, we thought that we'd be able to produce a pot within 3 months. But we were very wrong.
The biggest challenge was the strength of the cast metal. The colorful coating is an enamel glaze baked on to protect the cast metal from rust and give the pot a far-infrared heating effect. The enamel was baked onto the surface of the cast iron at 800 degrees. But in the process, the cast iron could not withstand the heat, causing carbon to bubble up to the surface or the pot to warp.
We made thousands of them, and sometimes one would come out nicely. Then we'd investigate what was different about it. The composition of the cast iron, the temperature and humidity. We collected all those data, and using those data, we inspected each and every pot.
This led to a discovery of something that nobody in the casting industry had ever thought of before. Temperature change in the casting mold. A casting mold made from sand is easily influenced by the temperature and the humidity due to weather. It doesn't matter for an industrial product, but it does for the pots that Takumi wanted to sell. For example, between the summer and the winter, the temperature of the casting mold varies. Even if the iron poured in is the same temperature, the speed and the way of hardening is different. So consistent product quality was not achieved. To overcome that problem, the Takumi adjusted the temperature of the molten iron in each case, depending on the weather conditions. Finally, 3 years after starting development, they were able to manufacture pots consistently.
The whole development process was a good lesson in how to think outside the box and question the way you're doing things. You have to set aside preconceived ideas.